So I've just had a fantastic chat with Amy De Souza, my very own 15-year-old daughter, and we've been looking at her perspective on business and career and what it's like to be making choices at her age, the options that are available, and how we can support them. So let's dive in. So hi ladies, today we're chatting with Amy De Souza. And yes, there's a similarity in name because she's my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter who is going into year 11 and considering her future and her career. So I thought it would be really good for us to chat with Amy and understand the perspective of her generation and how we at Women's Business Club can support young girls going into whatever career or business they want to go into. So Amy, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
You didn't have a choice, so thank you for... No, I'm joking. So Amy, what I'd like to do is just to talk about where you're at in your pre-career. How are you deciding what you might want to do with your future, and what kind of support we could give you at Women's Business Club, your school, your parents? You know, what sort of support would you like to see to help you make such an important life choice? And also, you know, how important you think these choices are, like subjects. So, gosh, that's loaded. Let's start with the very first question. What do you think you want to do?
Well, right now is a stage where there's a lot of pressure. A lot of people put pressure on you to know exactly what you want to do. But I think right now I'm trying to figure out the kind of life that I want to lead and what I want to get out of life rather than a specific career. So my main priority right now is my happiness, and that what I get from a career is happiness. I feel fulfillment within my life. So I won't dread going to work every day, because I do hear a lot of people talking about how much they dread going to work, and that's not the kind of life I want to lead.
That's incredible.
So right now is more prioritizing what I want to see for myself in my future. The kind of person I want to be. I think a career will follow if I prioritize those.
Yes. So you're looking at lifestyle and who you want to be, not what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's incredible, Amy. Not many people think like that, especially at 15. And I couldn't agree more. I wish I thought like that. And so so you don't think the what you're going to do is the thing that's going to put pressure on you. You don't feel like that's like relevant for your career choices or your subject choices now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how will you decide?
I think because a lot of things are going to change. If I start planning a specific career now and giving myself every single step that I need to take, things are going to change. And if things get thrown off, that's going to affect me as well, because I'll be like, oh my gosh, my plan's been ruined, and what am I going to do now? Giving myself a general idea of what I want to do. I think a career will come from that if I feel fit, you know?
Yeah.
So just having a general idea of what I want to do and what I want to see will put me in the right places for the careers that I want, because it will lead me to them rather than me chasing a career that I don't really want all that much just because I want money. I think right now, because I have so many options, especially at my age,
Exactly.
I have options of what I want to do, where I want to go, what kind of education I want, and this is a time where I want to figure things out. But having a general idea is what's going to help me find a career that I enjoy.
Wow. And so where are you at the moment in your processing? What do you feel is the next step for you? What's the most important next step for you to figure out? 15-year-old going into year 11, what's important at this stage of your journey?
That's a really good question. Well, I feel like, especially within school, they want... I remember on my first day of year 10, they made us write out a 10-year plan.
Wow.
And I feel like that is not the way to go about things at all. I think we have to think about the nearer future. Right now, going into year 11, I'm going to focus on my studies and my grades and look at different sixth form ideas. I'm not going to specifically look at the next 10 years because, again, things will change.
Exactly.
I can't control what the world's going to do, what's going to happen to the people around me, what's going to happen to me, and how my ideas will change. So I think just having next step for anyone should just be what's closest, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense.
Obviously, that doesn't work for everyone.
Mm.
I do know a lot of people like to feel prepared and feel secure and have plan A to Z. Like, you need that sort of comfort.
Yes.
But for me personally, I used to do that a lot, and it would put insane amounts of pressure on me.
Yes.
So having just like a general idea of the next few years, but mainly focusing on the task at hand, is what's helping me the most.
Mm. And does that take the pressure off of you?
It takes so much pressure off of me.
Yeah. And you don't feel worried about your future not having all the answers lined up. You're happy with just knowing the next step.
Yes. It does differ for everyone.
Yes.
But for me, I used to really like focus on the next like 1,000 years I'm going to live. So for me personally, just generally going with it and seeing where I end up is what's helping me. And like a lot of the time, well, most of the time, the careers that you want to do in high school aren't usually the careers people end up in. That's what I've heard many adults tell me as well.
Yes.
So I feel like going with what I feel is right for my life and what God wants me to do as well is most important to me.
And from a school point of view, what sort of support does the school give you?
Well, in my opinion, I feel like the school isn't properly supporting young people with their career choices and their futures. We did have a career advisor in, which I think helped, because I had a meeting with her. She was very helpful, but I feel like I didn't get a lot from it, because I feel like they didn't know enough about me to understand how to support me properly. But the school, again, puts so much pressure on young people to know everything, step by step, their exact career. Like, I feel like it's a very unhealthy and unnatural way to go about it, because they aren't getting all the different lifestyles in place as well. It's just more like go to school, job, retire. I feel like it's a very straightforward sort of thinking, like very closed as well.
Yes.
It's not thinking about the other ways that you can live your life and what young people actually need from their lives. It's more thinking very like, I don't know how to explain it, like robotic.
Yes,
like,
that makes sense.
So it's not actually thinking about the young person's life, it's thinking about their career. And it puts so much pressure on. I've spoken to so many people and they're like, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm like panicking about it. Like, there is no need to panic ever, because again, the adults I've spoken to, they're like, even I don't know what I want to do with my life.
Exactly.
And I'm so and so aged. Like,
it's so true, Amy.
You just have to like make sure that you are your top priority, not money, not your career, you. And I feel like those things will follow as well.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, like, why does it matter? I know money matters a lot in the world, but like, what's the point in having a bunch of money if you're not happy?
Exactly.
And
you're not living your life.
I feel like the school is making it seem like the career is the most important part of your future. I have spoken to someone about this, and I'm going to see if we can have a talk at school about how to prioritize like ourselves within our futures. So then instead of thinking careers, thinking like, oh, I'm good at so and I enjoy so and so let's see what options there are, because it's great to have options.
I think it's quite a radical way of thinking. I've certainly never heard that from a 15-year-old or even, 20, 30, 40-year-old, like even people my age. That's revealing my age now. But, still don't have it figured out that it's more about living your life than working for money. And you get the money, like you said, but you've never lived your life. You've never enjoyed your life. And so it's radical for you to be saying at your age, I want to figure out what I want my lifestyle to look like, and who I want to become, and then career. It blows my mind. It's incredible. And so with the way you're processing things and the way you're thinking, so your next step is to figure out the lifestyle you want.
Yeah.
And then how do you figure out who you want to be? What does that mean?
I look at the people I admire the most. I feel like having, like, what I admire about people because I feel like there's good and bad in everyone, and I want to try to get as much as the good in me. And I think about how I think of other people, what other people say about other people. It's like I try to get the good qualities from people and try to work on myself as a person as well. Because I feel like there's so many good skills that people need, like communication and empathy and stuff. And watching other people and being around other people and talking to other people, I'm saying that word a lot, but it definitely influences me for the better. And like picking and choosing who you want to be around will definitely help in your future.
Absolutely. Let's just pause there. Picking and choosing who you want to be around. I love that. You need to be intentional because you become like the people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And so if you're not selective intentionally, then who knows, where you're going to end up. So that's spot on as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem with young people surrounding themselves with the wrong people and just feeling miserable in their relationships, like friendships and romantic relationships.
Exactly.
Because people aren't thinking about how their relationships are actually affecting them.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be around people that build me up rather than tear me down, because that's what's going to help me the most in the long run, and that helps me have a better understanding of the people around me.
And a lot of older people, well in any age really, still haven't figured that principle out of you've got to be around the right people to become the best version of yourself. And what advice would you give to young people who are trapped in a relationship that's not good for them, whether it be a friendship, a romantic relationship, an unhealthy family member? Do you have any advice for that young person on how to detach themselves from that relationship, or what do they do if they know they're being negatively influenced but they're trapped?
It is really difficult to get out of those situations. I've known people who've been in not very good relationships or have been affected by the people around them, not in good family situations and all of that. And it is really difficult to get out of it. I feel like with friendships, relationships, and then family, all have different solutions.
Yes, that's true.
Because they're different kinds of connections. Like with your family, you're a lot closer and you're in the same space as them.
And sometimes you can't get away from them. If you're living with them.
Yeah. So with family, it's more, if you feel like you're being negatively influenced, you have to just distance yourself a bit and maybe don't take what they say to heart as much. I know that's really difficult to do, but it's more because obviously you can't get away from them in proximity, but getting away from them mentally.
Yes, putting those boundaries in place where you don't absorb the negativity.
And then with relationships, I feel is such a complicated situation because there's so much more to them than just a normal friendship. So understanding what you're getting from the relationship, like, do I feel loved, do I feel safe, do I feel like all of this, if you're not getting what you need from the relationship, communicate that with your partner, and if your partner doesn't have an understanding of that,
get out.
Get out. Because you are the most important thing in your life. You cannot keep on like closing yourself off and making yourself seem smaller because of the person you're around wants to seem bigger. That makes sense. Like, you deserve better as a person. If you feel like you're not properly being fulfilled in a relationship, then go. And also in that, you also have to think of your partner. It's not
selfish.
It's not one way, okay? You have to make sure that you're properly treating your partner right, and it goes both ways, okay? If you think you're putting in a lot more effort than your partner, then that has to be communicated. But I feel like with a lot of issues like this, first of all, communication should be the first thing to do, and seeing how someone in any relationship responds to that will build your next steps. With friendships, I feel like, again, it really depends. With all of these situations, it depends. But as a general, you have to make sure you're around the right people. You have to make sure that you are acting yourself, that you're not changing yourself for anyone else.
Yes, that's so important.
Yeah, because I know so many people change themselves just so other people like them. Who cares? Who cares if someone likes you? Because not every human being on the planet Earth is going to like you all the time.
Yeah.
And that is completely fine. Even the most likable people, the most bubbly, amazing people will have people that dislike them. And that is completely okay. And that is really hard to get your head around. But if you're not around people that you can't be your complete, authentic self with, then don't be around them.
Yes.
And you may not be able to find them at first, but eventually waiting it out will be so much more beneficial to you because there's no point in wasting your time and energy with people that you don't even like, that don't even like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're changing yourself for. Waiting it out will always be the best decision in that sense because then you'll find the right people. So if you are in that cycle, just get yourself out because you're the most important thing. And that is something I would like to repeat. You are the most important thing in your life. So that's what you should be prioritizing.
Yeah. Take care of you. And be you. Take care of you, but also be you.
Yeah,
you know, be don't be ashamed to be yourself.
And that's where you'll find the right people.
Yeah. And now jumping back to career choices. So at Women's Business Club, one of the things we do is mentoring. We have a mentoring program, and we help people go from where they are to where they want to be next.
Yeah.
And as part of that process, one of the things that I work through with people is figuring out what they should be doing. Okay. And we have this little wheel that you go round and round and round. What are you good at? What did you excel at? What would you naturally excel at? And what can you monetize?
Yeah.
And some of the questions I ask is, what did you enjoy doing as a child? Go back to your earliest childhood memory. And I always have a caveat. If there's abuse or if there's trauma in your childhood, just let me know and I won't take you back there. So I always have that caveat because some people are broken from a very early age. But if you're comfortable going back, go back in your childhood. What did you love playing as a child? And I can't say I'm always right, but I'm very often right. What you played as a child is what you should be doing as a job as an adult.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I say in the mentoring is what did you excel at naturally at school or, in early childhood? Looking at those things. You don't have to get stressed about what you're going to do for a career because it's always been there. It's who you are. It's in your makeup. And we all have natural gifts and talents. So what do you think of the thought of what you played as a child is likely to be what you should do as a career?
I feel like that is a nice idea to have. But also, people can change so much. And their lives can change. I feel like if you were playing as a mermaid as a child, it would be a bit difficult to.
You wouldn't be a mermaid, but maybe you would write fantasy novels, or maybe you would be the next movie director, or you see what I mean. I'm not saying literally what you play as a child, but the indicators are there of how you play and what you play. Think of your early childhood as far back as you can comfortably go. Was there anything that you loved to play that you think, actually, that might be a part of what helps me figure out my career?
I honestly can't remember. I remember doing this hotel management course.
Yes, just for those listening, Amy at 10 years old decided she wanted to be a hotelier and found a hotel management course on Udemy and put herself through it. So at 10 years old, she was certified in hotel management. So and then she decided she wanted to do it in Japan and started teaching herself Japan on Duolingo. And so she's a little bit unusual.
It's a bit weird,
so looking maybe back prior to when you started going on these things, and it might not come to mind now, that's fine. But for my example, if I look back now, it's always been there that I should be in business, but nobody else saw it and they weren't able to encourage me. So my life took maybe a 30-year detour, 30 wasted years until I finally got to where I am today.
They're not wasted.
I agree. Anything can be used.
Yeah.
But in early childhood, first of all, one of my earliest memories was setting up my teddies to teach them because I love to teach, and then inviting my friends. I wasn't in school. In South Africa, you start school at 7. I must have been around 6. Yeah. My friends, 7 and 8-year-old, were in school. I had the audacity to invite my friends to come into my classroom and charge them 5 cents so that I could teach them. And looking back, there's a lot in that now translates to what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
but that's what I played as a child. And then the other thing that stands out to me is from the earliest age, I was doing things to generate money.
Yeah.
And looking back now, you can see, well, that's an entrepreneur in the making. That's somebody who is interested in business. And then going further along into my life, looking at my schooling, I excelled at certain subjects really naturally. I didn't have to work hard. And other subjects, I worked so hard and never got those grades.
Yeah.
So why did I continue pushing myself with these difficult subjects? I'll say one more thing along those lines and then get your comment. But the way I parent, as you well know, because I'm your mother, but what I like to do is look at the report card as an indicator of where your strengths and weaknesses are, not to push you and say, you have to get straight A's, or this subject's really bad, you need to work harder there. I'll say, okay, are you doing your best in every subject? If you're doing your best in every subject, then these A's are an indicator, and these C's or D's or whatever grades you get these days show that, yes, you have to finish that subject, and yes, you must do your best, but probably that's a subject you should drop because that's not your natural forte. And so grade cards or report cards should help parents and teachers guide young people. They shouldn't be, you all need to do better and you all need to get straight A's, because how is that helping you make your career choices? So comment on that.
Well, there's a lot to comment on.
Just the last part.
I definitely agree with that kind of idea. I feel like the schools definitely put so much pressure on young people to do amazing, like everything. Everybody's different. Everybody learns differently. Everybody, like, people have different understandings of different things. And like the school system, it's quite difficult for certain people to do, like, sit down at a desk and listen to someone talk at them for an hour and then do that 5 times. And then for some people, that's where they thrive and that's how they learn. I feel the school system definitely puts all young people into a box and doesn't properly support different kinds of learning styles. And then tells children off if they're not focusing properly when they can't focus for that long.
Yes.
So I feel like it would be great for the school to have a better understanding of different young people's needs, because, again, we organise generations like millennials, Gen Z and stuff, but we're not all the same.
Yes, that's so true.
So I feel like helping to understand young people's needs is really important these days. And also with the grade cards and seeing where people thrive, again, the school might be able to put in a bit more effort, hopefully, in the future, with actually utilising people's strengths. Because, like...
play to your strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really believe in that. Play to your strengths.
Exactly. And, like, even if it's, like, not a core subject, like, not a lot of people are going to be absolutely perfect at maths. You know, some people are going to thrive in drama or sport. That's still really important. That's still where their strengths lies, and usually what they enjoy as well. And again, going back to the subject of enjoyment, enjoying what you do in life is so much more important than just, I have to do English because it's a core subject. So I really wish the schools would take that into consideration and teach young people that it doesn't matter what your strengths are. What matters is utilising them and using them to the absolute best of your ability.
Okay, let's come into land. Keep this succinct now. First bit of advice to young people, your age, around your age. What advice would you give to them about deciding their future amidst all of this pressure on them?
Try to find what works best for you. Again, I know I've said, like, I'm going with the flow and, like, trying to take it one step at a time. People work differently.
Exactly.
Try different things. Well, like, do different things and see what works best for you. If what works best for you is, like, 10-year plan A, plan B, plan C, like, if that's what gives you comfort and security, go with it. If that freaks you out and scares you,
stay away from it.
Yeah, find what works for you. Find what brings you comfort in your life and what makes you happy in your life. You never have to know what career exactly that you want to do. Just having a general idea what you can do is what you should base, like, your subjects on.
Yeah.
Because, again, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think understanding that you are unique and
Yeah.
that everyone is different, I think that could be key as well, because I've heard stories of people who knew from 4 years old they want to be a doctor, and they've spent their whole life pursuing, they become a doctor, they live in the dream, because that was unique to them, whereas somebody else, like myself, only figuring it out in my 40s what I wanted to do. But that's okay, because like you say, those 30 years weren't wasted. It's just a journey, and it's everybody's journey is different.
Exactly.
So I think it's really important. Now, what advice would you give to us parents in supporting you in your career choices?
Again, I understand like social media and seeing other people, you're going to see kids doing better at certain things, and you might be like, oh, why can't my kid do that? Again, I'm not saying that's you. Obviously, you're a very good parent and you're very... I'm not just saying that. But I have met people whose parents are very, very strict about these things. And I think they aren't actually thinking about how that affects their child.
Yeah.
They think that they have their best interests at heart, but you're not actually thinking about what that's doing to your child. I think understanding your child first and talking to them, seeing what they actually enjoy, because it's all well and good to see like a school report, but actually talking to your child and seeing what's going on and seeing what they want to do, what makes them happy, is really important, because then you can help guide them, or you can find people who can help guide them. So having an understanding of your child, I understand for schools you can't have an understanding of every single student, but as a parent, understanding your child is really important, and have just seeing what they want to do and guiding them. You've been very helpful and with supporting me with the choices that I want to make, so I appreciate that. Just supporting and guiding your child is really important, especially in confusing times like this.
One of the biggest mistakes I made, I caught myself saying it, was with your two big sisters, Laura and Jordan. I always used to say, I raised them both the same. I wonder why they turned out so different. Yeah. And then I realized that's the problem. I raised them the same, but they're so different, but I didn't know at the time. And then my final question was, except apart from family, because I don't want you to feel obliged to say anything about family, apart from your family, what adult has had the most significant impact on you, and why?
Well, the most adults I've been around are like youth workers and teachers and stuff like that. So I feel like definitely my church, from a religious perspective, my church has helped me in unimaginable ways. When I was going through the worst parts of my life, having that guidance and having that support around me was so helpful, and it saved my life. And I really appreciate that. They guided me life-wise and made me feel a lot happier and secure. But then with my teachers at school, I think as a general, they helped me enjoy a subject. People don't realise how much of an influence teachers have. They can make or break a subject. And I feel like, especially with maths, I've got fantastic maths teachers, and they're all amazing, and they've all helped so much.
I remember you hated maths, and now you love it.
Exactly.
And it was that down to the teacher?
Yes.
Wow. Teachers, they have a lot of power, don't they?
Exactly. And I found a way to enjoy it because of her teaching, and the other teacher, I'm not going to mention any names, but they're both really good teachers, and they both teach in different ways, but the different ways that they teach help me, and it's really useful. And I definitely think teachers and youth workers have helped a lot. Even with the WAM, my WAM youth worker, she's been absolutely fantastic, and she's helped me, and she's listened to me, and she's like, again, taken so much pressure off of me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really, like, a lot of adults put pressure on young people.
I would dare say to adults listening to this to embrace the young people in their world and realize that they can make a difference.
Yeah.
No matter what capacity, So I would encourage, those listening, embrace the young people in your life, because you could be making a significant difference in their journey.
Yeah.
And then last question, Women's Business Club, we're here to support women in their business and career from as young to as old as possible. We age agnostic, sector agnostic. We just want to support women in getting to where they want to be and to be successful, whatever that means. oh gosh, I have 10 questions I want to ask you now on that front. I'll stick to one.
Yeah.
So if Women's Business Club were to be more open to supporting young women such as yourself, is there anything practical you can think of that we could do as a business community to reach out to young women trying to make these career or business choices that would be useful to you?
Yep. I think I'm very big on like doing assemblies and having talks with the school. I always feel like people are watching them, and a good talk people can get something from.
Okay.
So I feel if you spoke to the school, any school, just had a talk and help young people understand that you have options. You have so many options, and that is really reassuring and freeing to hear.
So you would like to hear from other businesswomen?
Yes.
Come into your school and do assemblies?
Yeah. Well, not all of them. Not like, I mean, just like have one thing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember we did like speed networking with school to see different careers. I feel like that was great. I feel like it should have been a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere. But maybe having a talk and then doing some networking like talk to help people understand like you've got options, we're here for you if you need any support, and then actually talking to people in their specific roles I think is really beneficial. Again, just connecting with the young people one-on-one, because a bad talk is like ha ha ha, you forget about it, but a good talk sticks with you.
Yes.
So I think it would be great to connect with the young people, and especially having different varieties of people and businesswomen, and just knowing that you have options out there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your side of the story, Amy. It's been great to chat with you. Women's Business Club, you heard it from Amy. If you can, contact your local schools and see how you can serve and support the young people in your community. If you have children, if you're a parent or not a parent, if you're a teacher or not a teacher, no matter where you're at, I would really encourage you to embrace the young people that you have access to and see how you can support them as they navigate this very tricky time of life, trying to figure out what the future holds. So that's it from us. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you.